Where should you invest? Home or abroad?
If you don't structure your investment well abroad, you might be paying double tax. As sweet as it sounds, the abroad market is very, very wide, especially the US stock market, the London stock exchange market, the Tokyo stock exchange market. One of the disadvantages of investing at home is there are some sectors that are not developed. Real estate is, awesome. Agriculture, we are getting there. If you can get an investment that would give you higher yield above inflation, then definitely you are good to go.
Hello guys, it's Chuka Nwachukwu, the investment advisor. Welcome to another episode of Investment Talk with Chuka. So, investment. Yeah, a lot of folks want to invest abroad and they feel that investing abroad is safest, or some just feel in terms of security it's best to invest abroad. However, those abroad, especially the FPI, foreign portfolio investors, want to invest in Nigeria. Why? Get to know today. I invited my friend, my brother, FAHAD ALIU, and let's just have a conversation around which cables you most, home or abroad. FAHAD, welcome.
Thank you very much, Chuka, for having me today. Hello, everybody. It's good to be here. Always good to be here with Chuka to help you all on your investment journey and to take you to your investment promised land.
Fantastic. Thank you, FAHAD. So, people prefer to invest abroad. Why those abroad? They prefer to invest abroad. And then, often enough time, I mean, because I'm an investment expert, you have both advantage and disadvantage. Let's have conversation around this, and then let our viewers understand your own perspective on investment.
Okay, thank you very much, Chuka. So, like Chuka mentioned, right, some people want to invest at home, right, and some people want to invest abroad, but we all know that there are pros and cons, right, to this investment, both home and abroad. Let's talk about the pros of investing at home. Let's start from there. What are the advantages that you get when you invest in your home country? Number one is familiarity with the market, right? You're very, very familiar with the companies that are in your home country. You know their pattern. You know the policies that guide these countries, right? So it's something that you can comfortably invest in. Secondly, is high rates. Nigerian stocks have been giving high dividend lately, more than the dividend you're going to get from outside from abroad stocks, right? So this dividend, these returns will assist you to increase your wealth faster compared to when you invest over there abroad. Do you understand? Then thirdly, also you are investing in growth in companies like fintech company, like the fintech space, right? The fintech sector, the agricultural sector, the real estate sector in Nigeria lately has been booming, right? So because of that, when you take advantage of this boom, right, you buy them low, you enter at a low price, and by the time you know it, you have made a lot of money from your home country investment. Yeah. Then lastly, when you invest at home, you support the economy of your country, right? When you invest in these companies, in these home countries, you support the economy of the country as a whole, and you make the country a better one for all of us. What do you think, Chuka?
Yeah, I mean, you've outlined it perfectly well, and that is why you see that FPIs keep coming, foreign portfolio marketers. That's what they had. Yeah. So one of the advantages is the fact that Nigerian economy is still very, very lucrative. Yeah, so imagine you get a facility abroad at 2%, and then you come to invest in Nigeria, especially in the security market, which is the bills, and then mostly the guys who invest in the OMO, right? So these are the folks that central bank try to encourage to come in, because when they come in and they bring in this FS inflows, and then of course that helps government to meet the demand. And these guys come in and make it, they're making it higher as 27%. Yeah, 27%. The last OMO auction that was last 3 years, 26 came in about 26%. So you can see the reason why. I mean, with all the so-called insecurity, and these guys keep coming. Yeah, right. And then another thing again is if you check the inflow, FPI inflow between January to July, we had well over $5.7 billion invested into the Nigerian economy within 7 months. That's far, that's almost 100 basis points above last year. It was around about 4 billion. So the economy is doing well, not as well as we want, but the bottom line is this is where the market pays. But there must be disadvantage.
Definitely, Chuka. So, with regards to the con, like you mentioned earlier, foreign portfolio investors, they borrow money over there and bring it here, you understand, and they buy OMO at favorable rates, One of the disadvantage that these people face is the FX fluctuations, the Naira depreciation, right? When you invest your money in Naira, your returns are going to be in Naira, and at the end of the day, the value of Naira might have depreciated. Think of someone of people that invest in the Naira, years back, maybe 3 years, 4 years back, when Naira to dollar was about 700, right? Now, if they are cashing out their investment and they want to convert it back to dollars, they are making a loss. You understand? So one of the disadvantages that we have with investing in Nigeria is the problem of repatriation, right? The forex issue that we are currently facing, the foreign exchange, it's very, very volatile, with our currency, and as a result, you might, depending on your strategy, some people may suffer loss while some people will, have a gain on that. That is one disadvantage. Also, the second disadvantage is political and policy change. Right, there are a lot of times where policies will just change overnight, and before you know it, your investment is going down the drain. Some policies that would not favor your investments. For example, recently, 2 months ago, we woke up to the issue of CBN and banks, right? And we saw the way the banking share price dropped, for a lot of Nigerian banks during that period of time. But here we are again, it's going back up. So things like this happen a lot of times, and it's one of the disadvantages that we get to see, with investing back home here in Nigeria.
I think inflation also plays another role.
Definitely, inflation of 20%. There are a lot of investments where you don't even get up to this 20%, right? So if you're not getting up to 20%, but inflation is at 20%, then you are losing money. You are losing money eventually. So inflation is also a problem. With the Naira, there is always an inflation. But if you can get an investment that would give you higher yield above inflation, then definitely you.
I think the last inflation was around 21%.
Yes, yes.
From the previous one.
From the previous one, and we're expecting the figures also.
Yeah. So, what about advantages in terms of investing abroad?
Okay, so if you invest abroad, you see all those cons that we mentioned, right? They become a pro for you because, number one, the abroad market is very, very wide, especially the US stock market, the London Stock Exchange market, the Tokyo Stock Exchange market. These markets are very, very big and wide. There are a lot of options to invest in. They are more advanced, so you have a lot of options to invest in. You have a lot. One of the disadvantages of investing at home is there are some sectors that are not developed here back home. The sectors that are doing well. This is an investment tip. The banking sector is doing well. Right, the telecommunication sector is doing well. Fintechs, they are doing very, very well. So then real estate is awesome. Agriculture, we are getting there, especially with the news of shea butter that we saw recently with the presidency. It's something we really look forward to and we're excited about. Right, so when you invest abroad, there are some sectors that you don't have access to back home, that when you invest in abroad, you're going to make a kill out of, right? So it gives you more opportunity to diversify your investment. That is one. Secondly, stability in FX, right? When you invest abroad, you invest in USD, right? You know that the inflation rate of USD is about is targeted to be at 2%, right? So at that rate, you know that your investment is not being eroded by inflation, and the value of your investment is the same thing as what you get eventually. Although the returns might be low, which we're going to discuss when we're talking about the disadvantage, right? But you know that there is stability, you know where you stand, you know the true value, you know, of your returns on investments, and you can actually plan ahead of that.
And then also for those who have kids abroad, okay, so I mean, when you invest abroad, it's easier, just so you don't have to, you know, send money from Nigeria and then we want to pay school fees and all that. So if you have investment out there, it's easier for you to just sort out all the obligations you have. So let's quickly talk on the disadvantage.
Okay, so as sweet as it sounds, right, there are also disadvantages that comes with investing abroad. Number one for me is access to forex, especially for Nigerians, right? Sometimes it might be difficult for you to access forex, for you to invest, you know, in stocks abroad or to have any investment abroad, and this might be a limitation. You might buy it at a higher rate, thereby eroding part of your returns. Do you understand? So if we can easily access FX through the government, you know, we'll be able to invest more abroad. That is one. Secondly is, if you don't structure your investment well abroad, you might be paying double tax, right? Because you are paying your tax on your earnings here in Nigeria, and over there also, once you make an income, it will be taxed, and we all know the taxes over there are, you know, can be it's a lot. Exactly. So it's good for you to you know, structure it in such a way that, you know, you avoid those taxes. You try to structure it well. You understand?
But talking about tax, I was in London, I think last week, yeah. So I met someone who followed my YouTube page. Then we got talking on investment. She's actually an investment banker anyway. She's Nigerian, but I mean British Nigeria. Right? And then she is looking to invest in Nigeria. Why? Because so like, look, I earn this amount. Yeah, it looks big, but everything is wiped out in terms of tax. So she get taxed when her salary comes in, and then when she makes some investment, she get taxed. And so she asked for advice, which I gladly gave her, just as we do in investment or picture. So, and then at the end of the conversation, she was excited, you know, because she could see that, look, yeah, the economy out there in London is better than ours. However, you know, it pays her more to invest here. One, she has a higher return. Number two is the fact that, you know, she's not taxed, you know, heavily, yes. And especially if she has to invest in any of the government securities. Yeah, so treasury bills and bonds, you see. And, you know, so that's also a limitation. How, you know, when you have to invest as well.
Definitely. So in summary, if you would ask me, you know, with all these pros and cons that we've assessed, I think the best thing, my advice, the best thing is you structure it all. You do everything, you know, you do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. That takes us back to our video where we discussed about portfolio diversification. You know, you diversify, you invest in some home investments, and you also put your money in some abroad investments. So that way, you know you have a taste of everything. It's just like rice and chicken, right? You eat your rice. You can't eat rice without chicken. You can't eat chicken without you mix everything, you know, and you have a taste of all.
Yeah, thanks for that. I mean, it's an eye opener, and then I think that what we do here is we try to cover everything, every aspect of investment, giving you the investment advice, you know, as it comes, and then we'll allow you to make your informed decision. So thank you very much. Thank you for coming again. Yeah, so folks, this is it. We must invest in Nigeria, you know, because when you do that, number one, not that it's a win-win situation. Win for you and win for the country. Because when you invest, you're earning more in terms of return of investment. And then, of course, the tax is reduced. And then when you invest in Nigeria, you are creating job opportunities for our brothers and sisters who don't have job, because government itself cannot, create jobs. Okay, so I will encourage everyone to come to Nigeria to invest. We have absolute mad return of investment. I want to thank you guys for joining us. Investment Talk with Chuka. Till we meet again, this is your investment advisor, Chuka Nwachukwu. Bye bye for now.